Good morning, Your Honor. This is Alan Figueroa, State Certified Spanish Code Interpreter, already sworn.
Good morning, Mr. Figueroa. This is Judge Bain calling from the BRC. When I get the defendant with the headsets on, we can do a sound check. Defendant with the headsets on.
Sí.
All right.
The defendant can hear me, Your Honor.
All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Jefferson Acosta Cabrera.
Jefferson Acosta Cabrera.
Mr. Acosta Cabrera, you're here in case 2021 MM 8784 AO on charge of battery domestic violence. Did review the charging affidavit in your case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Ma'am, do you need the services of the Spanish interpreter?
No, I'm okay.
Can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Veronica Sevilla, Sevilla.
All right. As best you can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can put your hand down. Can you tell me how you know Mr. Acosta Cabrera?
What happened?
How do you know Mr. Acosta Cabrera?
He's my husband.
Are you two legally married?
Not legally married.
And do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Yes.
Has there been a previous instance of domestic violence between you all in the past?
No.
And did drugs or alcohol play a role in this incident?
No.
And State, do you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Acosta Cabrera, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Brands, do you have any questions for the witness?
No questions, Your Honor.
Do you want to advocate on anything on your client's behalf? Mr. Brands?
Just straight bond, Your Honor, a reasonable bond amount.
What about talk more specifically about contact?
Oh, it's within your discretion, Your Honor, based on witness testimony. She does want contact, so I would have you order no hostile contact, but it is in your discretion.
All right, Mr. Acosta Cabrera, I'm going to set your bond in this case in the amount of $500. It's going to come with pre-trial release supervision. You have no hostile contact with the victim in this case. No hostile contact means this. You two, since you are in a domestic relationship, are going to have disagreements with each other. There are going to be things that are going to come up in your relationship that you are not going to agree with. However, in those arguments or disagreements, you cannot become violent. There could be no threats made. You cannot use any abusive language, either in English or in Spanish. You cannot, because if that happens, either whether she calls law enforcement or whether her older daughter or anybody else that sees or hears you all arguing calls law enforcement, you will be arrested. You're spending the remaining of your time here with me at the Orange County Jail on no bond status. You understand that? See or no?
Yes, sir.
You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. And are you appointed the public defender to represent you? You have a great day. You have a great day, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Jeremy Morales.
Jeremy Morales.
Sir, you're here in case 2021 MM 8797 AO on charge of battery, domestic violence, and criminal mischief. I did review the charging affidavit in your case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond in count one, amount of $1,000, count two, an amount of $500. Condition of your bond is you to have no contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. The weapons and firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. Do you have any questions about the stipulations on your no contact order?
No.
Nope.
Abide by my orders. Have a great day. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Faustino Morales Espinosa.
Faustino Morales Espinosa.
Sir, you're here in case 2021 MM8790AL on a charge of battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in your case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond in this case amount of $1,500, issuing the bond that you have no contact with the victim in this case. You maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You also may not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, subject to random drug and alcohol testing. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You have a great day.
Your Honor. Mr. Morales, Jeremy, his victim just showed,
So what happened?
he just walked in, so I don't know if you wanna hear from her or not.
Can we get Mr. Morales Diaz back? Morales? Yep. Ma'am, do you need the services of the Spanish interpreter?
What?
Do you need the services of the Spanish interpreter?
I understand a little bit.
Mr. Figueroa, could you help me out and ask her?
Sure thing, Your Honor. I was about to jump in. Señora, ¿prefiere usar el intérprete de español?
Yo entiendo un poquito inglés, pero
¿No quiere el intérprete entonces?
no está bien. Yo, si no entiendo, yo puedo pedir ayuda, ¿verdad?
Bueno, se le hace muy difícil para el intérprete interpretar las cosas a media, de a poquito, lo que entiende o lo que no entiende. Es mejor si usa el intérprete y lo hace todo en español y así todo queda más claro, o si no, hacerlo en inglés,
Sí,
como
en
usted
inglés.
prefiera. Okay, she has informed me that she doesn't need the interpreter, Your Honor, and she'll be doing it in English.
Okay. All right, ma'am, while we're waiting, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Yomaris Figueroa, and it's Figueroa.
Okay. Yeah.
This person is gonna go with us the last payment.
And no work. All right. Good morning, Mr. Morales. Again, you're here in case 2021 MM 8797AO. Ma'am, can you tell me how you know Mr. Morales?
Since Puerto Rico, we dated.
And do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Um, well, I would say no, but we have like appointments in the psychiatrist and the couples therapy, so I don't know.
You have an appointment for us, the mental health professional, or
We both have.
you
I
both have?
have by myself, and then I already booked last week for both of us. So, but I would like if he can get like help because I already have it. I go to a psychiatrist weekly.
Okay.
Um,
Were you the victim of this prior domestic violence case?
yeah.
All right. When was that case?
Yes, yesterday, today, like early in the morning, like
No, not the case he's here for. I see in his arrest history, I see another domestic violence case.
yeah, he lied. He got me a domestic violence, and then he dropped the charges.
Okay. Say, do you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Brands, do you have any questions for the witness?
No questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, state would just ask that you stay what you've already ordered.
All right. Mr. Brands, do you have any
Um,
disagreement with that?
No argument, Your Honor.
Ma'am, we previously, like, before you showed up, I had already seen Mr. Morales. I ordered him, I set bond in both of his counts. I ordered him to have no contact with you, ordered him to maintain a separate residence from you. He cannot possess any weapons or firearms. The weapons or firearms he has cannot be used within he has to turn them over to law enforcement within 24 hours of his release. So I want to stay those orders that I previously entered. You have anything else before the court?
I have a question because he doesn't have a job and he doesn't have a place to live. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but I just don't want him in my house.
Yeah, that's why I ordered.
Yeah.
So he is 22 years old. In this country, he's going to have to figure it out. Okay?
Okay. About the help, you guys like give him like the paper that he needs it because he has an anger management.
I'm not, those two things usually are mutually exclusive from each other. Anger management and domestic violence aren't usually the same thing. The reason why people batter their domestic partner usually has nothing to do with anger. Usually has something to do with some other underlying issue. So anger management usually makes people better domestic violence batterers, not really that help the situation.
I have a question because when we argue, I have a nightclub in Puerto Rico because I live in Puerto Rico. I just have an apartment because I work here.
Yep.
I have a nightclub and he said he was gonna like rip it and tear it apart. Like, can he travel? Can he leave the state if I go to Puerto Rico? Meanwhile,
Well, I can do this. I'm going to order that he remain in the Central Florida area as a part of his release conditions. I'm going to order also, part of his no contact order is that not have any face-to-face contact with you, no third-party contact with you.
Or his
He
family?
can't, yeah, anybody, that's what I mean, third party, so he can't send somebody else to have contact with you. He cannot be within 500 feet of your car, your place of residence, or your place of work. That would include here or anywhere else. In Puerto Rico, New York, Miami, doesn't matter where you're
I
working.
asked because last time, the police told me that he can go, and I don't want him in my club or anything.
Yeah, so I ordered, that's how I said, I'd ordered him to remain in the Central Florida area. That'd be Orange, Osceola. I'll give him Polk and Seminole County, maybe in Lake County, to make it more specific.
Okay.
So he has to remain in those areas while he's out on bond. If he wants to book a ticket anywhere else, he's gonna have to ask the court for permission to travel.
I have a last question, cause, I have a car, it's both of our names, and he has like parking tickets and stuff under his name. Do I have to pay them?
I can't help you with that part. That's something you're gonna have to talk to a lawyer about. Obviously, either meet with as far as this case is concerned, you gotta talk to the state attorney's office and your victim advocate about those kind of things, but things outside of that, outside the criminal case, I can't really assist you with, okay?
Okay,
All right, you have a great day.
thank you.
All right. All right, I think Mr. Figueroa, I don't think the defendant needs Spanish, right? The victim needs Spanish?
This is, Your Honor, this is Carlos Benitez Roman.
Who? What's his name?
This is the out-of-county case, I believe.
Oh, sorry. All right, apologize. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Carlos Manuel Benítez Ramón.
Carlos Manuel Benitez Ramon.
Sir, you're here in an out-of-county case from Osceola County, 2020 CT 205, no, sorry, 2005, 2020 CT 3326, and 2020 CT 2006. Bonds set in your cases are 1,500 and 1,000. They're going to remain the same. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you if you're not already appointed. We'll get you down to Osceola County probably sometime today. You have a great day, sir. This is misdemeanor domestic. Here, I got it. Agullas?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Figueroa, I think the victim is going to need your assistance.
Not a problem, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Luis Aguas.
Sir, you're here in case 2021 MM 8776 AO on charge of battery domestic violence. I did review the charging affidavit in your case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Ana Jaramillo.
Do you need the services of the Spanish interpreter?
Yes, sir.
All right. If you're going to use the services of the Spanish interpreter, you're going to have to wait for me to say what I'm going to say. He's going to translate it into Spanish. You have to respond in Spanish, so then we have a clear record, okay?
Okay.
All right, ma'am, tell me your name.
Dígame su nombre, señora.
Ana Jaramillo.
Ana Jaramillo.
Ma'am, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Levante la mano derecha, por favor.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
¿Jura o promete que el testimonio que rendirá será la verdad, solo la verdad y nada más que la verdad? ¿Lo jura ante Dios?
Sí.
All right.
Yes.
You can put your hand down, ma'am. Can you tell me how you know Mr. Aguilas?
¿Cómo conoce usted al señor Aguas?
En Colombia.
From Colombia.
All right. And do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
¿Desea usted tener contacto con él mientras este caso esté pendiente?
Sí, por favor.
Yes, please.
Has there been a previous instance of domestic violence between you all in the past?
¿Ha habido algún otro incidente de violencia doméstica entre ustedes en el pasado?
No, nunca.
No, never.
And did drugs or alcohol play a role in this incident?
¿Y las drogas o el alcohol tuvieron algo que ver con este incidente?
Mi esposo estaba con alcohol.
My husband was drinking alcohol.
State, do you have any questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
¿Fiscalía, alguna pregunta para la testigo? No, su señoría.
Mr. Brands, do you have any questions for the witness?
Señor Brands, ¿alguna pregunta para la testigo?
No questions, Your Honor.
Sin preguntas.
Mr. Good is going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. Mr. Brands, you want to advocate for anything other than no contact?
Bien, señor Agua, se le designará defensor público para que lo represente en este caso. Señor Brands, ¿desea opinar algo?
With witness testimony in mind, we would request no hostile contact with a straight monetary bond, Your Honor.
Dado el testimonio de la testigo, quisiéramos pedir que se le emita una orden de prohibición de contacto hostil y se fije una fianza razonable.
State, you,
Your Honor, state's main concern at this point is that there was an independent witness who observed this incident, and I believe is the one who contacted law enforcement. And when law enforcement spoke to the victim, I believe she was uncooperative. So state's still concerned for the victim's safety. However, we'll leave it within your discretion, understanding her testimony here today that she does want contact.
Su señoría, la preocupación de la fiscalía en este momento es que no fue la víctima quien llamó a las autoridades, fue alguien más. Y cuando las autoridades hablaron con la víctima, ella no estuvo muy dispuesta a colaborar con las autoridades. Así que, dado eso, quisiéramos pedir que se emita una orden de prohibición de contacto, aunque la víctima haya indicado que desea tener contacto con él.
all right. Mr. Gillis, I have the same concerns. Not really sure whether, based on this affidavit and the testimony I've heard today, that I feel comfortable that your wife is going to contact law enforcement if an incident like this happens again.
Yo tengo la misma preocupación. No estoy seguro si, dado las acusaciones que constan acá en el affidavit de arresto, más el testimonio de su esposa, no me siento seguro o convencido de que ella llamaría a las autoridades si algo como esto vuelve a ocurrir.
So at this time, I'm going to set your bond in this case, amount of $500 is going to cover pretrial release supervision.
Así que en este momento voy a fijar la fianza de este caso en $500 con condiciones de libertad provisional.
You have no contact with the victim in this case.
Se le prohíbe el contacto con la víctima en este caso.
You are to maintain a separate residence from this victim.
Debe buscarse otro paradero por separado de la víctima.
I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location.
Se le permitirá regresar una sola vez junto a las autoridades para recoger sus pertenencias personales.
You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release.
Se le prohíbe la tenencia de ningún tipo de arma ni arma de fuego. Si tiene alguna, debe entregársela a las autoridades dentro de un plazo de 24 horas desde el momento en que salga de aquí.
You are to possess no drugs or alcohol. You be subject to random drug and alcohol testing in this case.
Se le prohíbe la tenencia o uso de ningún tipo de drogas o alcohol y deberá someterse a análisis de alcohol y de drogas al azar.
It's possess or consuming. You're not to possess or consuming drugs or alcohol.
Ni la tenencia ni el consumo.
These orders I entered can be modified by Judge Shoemaker. He's the division judge in this case.
Las órdenes que yo he emitido pueden ser modificadas por el juez Shoemaker, quien es el juez designado al caso.
But until that time happens, you must abide by my orders, do you understand?
Pero hasta que eso no ocurra, usted debe cumplir con las órdenes que yo he emitido hoy, ¿lo he entendido?
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody have a great day.
Gracias, tengan todos un buen día.
Tengo una pregunta.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Es que no entendí lo de la... Ay, ¿cómo se llama eso? Que no puede estar en contacto. ¿Por cuánto tiempo?
I didn't quite understand the, what do you call that? That he can't have contact with me? How long is that gonna last for?
He's to have no contact with you until somebody in a black robe that looks like me, most likely it would be Judge Shoemaker, because he's the one in charge of this case, authorizes him to have contact with you.
A él se le prohíbe el contacto con usted hasta que otro juez, igual que yo, que es el juez Shoemaker, quien es el juez designado de este caso, decida cambiar esa orden.
¿Y eso es cuánto tiempo? Pues en
And how
cuánto tiempo
long-
es la siguiente instancia.
And how long is that going to take, or when is the next hearing going to be?
I'm not sure right now, but he can get in front of, he has an attorney appointed for him in the public defender's office. So his attorney can file a motion in front of Judge Shoemaker. You all can have a hearing similar to the hearing we're having now, but Judge Shoemaker has the ability to put some other things in place to make him feel more comfortable than I do right now this morning.
No estoy seguro, pero él tiene el abogado defensor público ya designado a representarlo. El abogado puede radicar un pedimento ante el juez para que se celebre una audiencia, tal cual como la que tenemos hoy, y el juez pueda cambiar o modificar la orden si ese juez se siente más seguro o convencido de que usted llamaría a las autoridades si esto se repite.
Ok, perfecto.
Ok, perfect.
All right, you have a great day, ma'am.
Gracias, tenga buen día.
Gracias, lo mismo.
Have a good day, sir.
Your Honor, is Mr. Agula is able to travel while out on bond without contact, of course, with the,
Well, he can't leave the country, but he can, you know. I don't, like, usually people on bond, if you want to leave the country outside of my jurisdictional reach, then you're gonna have a problem. So if you want to go to Colombia, you're gonna have to file a motion with the court.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, have a great day. We do have extradition with that country, but
you wanted to ask, so ask the court.
it's tenuous at best.
I understand.
Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name? I'm sorry, Mr. Figueroa. I think I'm done. Can you see if anybody in the audience needs your assistance?
Sure thing, Your Honor. A las personas que están en el público, ¿hay alguien que necesita el intérprete de español?
All right, don't see any hands waving at me. Thank you, Mr. Figueroa. Have a great day.
Thank you, Your Honor. You as well.
All right, sir. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Tyler, Your Honor.
So Tyler, you're here in case 2021 CF 15695AO on a charge of battery, domestic violence by strangulation. They reviewed the charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Looks like this is a reset from yesterday, I guess because Mr. Tyler was in the hospital. Were these prior domestic violence cases, though?
Your Honor, I pulled them, they're not in Orange County, they're all out of Volusia. I have one from 2016, it's a tampering, battery, violation of pretrial, it was a different victim. Another from 2016 from Volusia, a bat DV and resisting, another victim. Another 2016 from Volusia, false imprisonment and battery, a different victim. And then another 2016 Volusia, domestic battery, and it was a different victim, all Miss Young.
All right, sir, I want to set your bond in this case in amount of $15,000, conditioning your bond that you have no contact with the victim in this case. You need to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. Do you have any questions about the stipulations of your no contact order?
No, sir.
All right.
Who is my representative now?
The public, you mean your attorney? Public defender's office right now in my courtroom is represented by Mr. Brantz. But Mr. Bob Wesley has several other people under his employ.
A moment to confer, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Austin Bryant.
Mr. Bryant, you're here in case 2021 CF 15728 AO on charge of aggravated assault, domestic violence. Did review the charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest. 1 second. All right, sir, I'm gonna set your bond in this case in the amount of $2,500. Condition of your bond is you have no contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. The weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. We'll make a condition of your release that you take all your mental health or psychotropic medications in this case, and that you not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. You have a great day, sir. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name? Mr. Cole, you're here in case 2021 CF 15674 AO on a charge of accessory after the fact.
Yes, Your Honor, there's a little bit of a confusing history on this one, if I may.
I'm sure. I mean, it looks like we got 2 resets, and we're on our 3rd reset today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
It appears, from my understanding of talking to other ASAs this morning, is that he was seen on 12/11. The bond was stated none at that time, given that this is a PBL, as it's an accessory to a capital offense. And the judge put on the order for the state to obtain additional information. From my understanding, the judge wanted the warrant, and the ASA was having trouble printing that warrant. It was seen again on 12/12, and the notes on the court instructions say to determine the bond status pending a hearing. However, since that time, this case is a PBL, so state's asking for no bond. However, the ASA on this case also filed a notice of PRR as well as a pretrial detention motion.
Okay. I don't see the pretrial detention motion. You have a copy of it?
I do, I believe he filed it in open court. However, I'm not sure what happened this
Okay.
weekend. May I approach?
All right. I think at the time, Judge Dawson didn't have access to our system the way we do now.
Yes, Your Honor, so
Yes.
there's the pretrial detention motion as well as it being a PBL.
All right. So based on that, Mr. Code, you already had a public defender represent you in this case.
Your Honor, I believe the state is going to print a copy of the motion for me.
I have it right here in my hand.
May I approach?
For the,
I'm printing another one right now for
oh, okay.
Mr. Brands.
Thank you, Your Honor, just a moment.
I wrote in the case number since it was missing the,
We didn't have it in our case management system when this was originally printed. Thank you, Your Honor.
those are good tricks before you
That
go in
may
there.
be
you can
why I didn't.
manually put it in. That's usually the case.
Do you want the PRR notice?
That doesn't attach until the case is actually filed, so.
It's not necessarily relevant regarding bond at this time, just sentencing at a later time, but both have been filed.
I'm ready to be heard, Your Honor.
All right.
Uh,
All right,
if
so
the
there are two different standards we're talking about. One is our constitutional pretrial detention article in section Article 1 of our Florida Constitution, and then the second one is Florida Statute 907.041. So
That's correct, Your Honor.
separate the arguments so I can we have a clear record.
Under the statute as well as the rules of criminal procedure, the state is able to file a pretrial detention motion to hold no bond. So I believe my argument would go to, as the pretrial detention motion's been filed, the only thing I would argue is,
Do you have any objection to the form of the motion at this moment?
no, Your Honor. If the court finds it's facially sufficient, you can hold them no bond pending a final hearing within 5 days, I believe.
Yep. All right, so I'll do that. As to motion for pretrial detention filed in Mr. Ernest Code's case, 2021 CF 0156740. Court finds the motion facially sufficient at this time. He has to be seen by Judge Barber within 5 business days of today's date. Be held at no bond at this time, no contact with any co-defendants or any victims' families, even while he's at the jail. They say I don't see it though. That's why I was like, "Where? Give me a copy." All right, it's 2021 CF 15731 and 2021 CF 15732. Going to appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Dawkins.
Waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right. Going to state his bonds in his cases, finding probable cause in both cases. Conditional bonds, no drugs, alcohol without valid prescription. Random drug testing is part of both cases. He's out on bond in 2 other matters, 2021 CF 1402 AW, as well as 2021 CF 9277 AO. Of course, going to court find probable cause to commit new law offenses, is going to revoke those bonds, set new bond at $0.
Would you consider just setting a higher bond, Your Honor?
I would if he didn't pick up the resisting with case, but it seems to be escalating in his. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Charlie Gamble, sir.
Mr. Gamble, you're here in case 2021 CF 15718 AO on a charge of aggravated battery and false imprisonment. Read the charging affidavit, did find probable cause for your arrest. Gonna set your bond in count 1 in amount of $25,000. Count 2 in the amount of $5,000. Condition of your bond, you have no contact with the victim, no return to the scene of the location, no weapons, no firearms. The weapons and firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You do not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. You have a great day, sir. I don't think so. Let me check. I don't have enough information in here. I mean, they said they were in a dating relationship. I mean, she lives a separate address, so can't even say they were living together. No.
Your Honor, Amanda Gooden is mental health.
All right, 2020 CF 20689 AO. Want to appoint the public defender to represent her.
We'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, she's here from a warrant from Brevard County in that case. And her bonds, no bonds remain, no bond, no contact with any victims. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Eric Miguel McCray.
Sir, you're here in case 2021 CF 15730 AO on a charge of throwing a deadly missile at or within a building. Did review the charging affidavit in this case, did find a probable cause for your arrest. I'm gonna stay your bond in this case amount of $5,000. Condition of bond, no return to the scene, no contact with any victims or witnesses. No weapons, no firearms. The weapons and firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You already had the public defender appointed to represent you, so have a great day, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Tasha Ramonia Robinson.
Ma'am, we here in case 2021 MM 8781 AO on charges of trespass in an occupied structure, conveyance, petty theft, and resisting officer without violence. They reviewed the charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest. State, do you have an offer to resolve this case this morning?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Your Honor, could you, in setting bond, consider the trespass and the resisting subsidiary
Of what?
of the petty theft? Would that be the higher charge?
Well, they're independent of each other. They don't meet the merger doctrine or the elements doctrine, so.
Understood, Your Honor.
All right. Does she qualify for pretrial release, or? I don't know. No? As long as you want to. All right, Ms. Robinson, do you have a place you live? Do you have a house, place you can get mail?
Yes, I have two houses.
Where are these houses located?
One is 230 Mustang Drive. It's within being verified, but it's on my social. I have an automobile, but I'm only down to ID, so it's like if I do anything here, I found I have to have $4,000. But if I'm a ward of Georgia and I have to get an ID or a new driver's license, it broke down from written consent to redo the whole thing from trainers to drivers.
All right, Ms. Robinson, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna release you on mental health pretrial release in this case. If you don't qualify for mental health pretrial release, I'm gonna set each one of your bonds amount of $100, condition of bond, no return to the scene of the location, and no contact with any victims or witnesses. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Vanessa Santiago, Vanessa Melissa Santiago.
Ma'am, you here in case 2021 MM8760 AO on charge of trespass on property after warning and possession of drug paraphernalia. Reviewed the charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Say it was an offer to resolve this case.
Yes, Your Honor, the offer conveyed is a withhold credit time served and no return. State's only concern is I see her previous battery. She was found incompetent to proceed. I don't know if PD has any other information on that.
Your Honor, that's, to my knowledge, incompetent to proceed, and I wouldn't be comfortable entering a plea based on
Well,
that.
you don't represent her, so I'm gonna have a conversation with Ms. Santiago for a second here.
I would
Ms.
object,
Santiago,
Your Honor.
since 2016, have you been seeing any mental health professionals?
Yes, I have.
All right, are you taking any mental health medications?
They were done with, and my new boyfriend was supposed to help me get my medicine back on.
All right. When was the last time you took your mental health medications?
Last time was a month ago.
All right. What
I was supposed to go to the doctor like 2 weeks ago. I was supposed to go to the pharmacy 2 weeks ago, but me and my new boyfriend were, because I had to get rid of the old guy for the battery case I have against him.
Okay.
Michael Archer is my ex, so there was a case against him because of him assaulting me. So I had to move on to a whole new guy so I could benefit myself.
Okay. All right, man, we'll do this. Or release your mental health pretrial release in this case. You're gonna qualify for mental health pretrial release. You're gonna set bond each one of your cases amount of $50. Condition of bond, no return to the scene of the location, no alcohol, no drugs, alcohol without a valid prescription.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. You have a great day, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Darnell Sittling is mental health, Your Honor.
All right, it's 2021 CF 15724 AO. Going to appoint the public defender to represent.
Waive the appearance, Your Honor.
Let's set bond in this. I did find probable cause for his arrest in this case in charge of aggravated assault, deadly weapon. Bonds $5,000. Condition of bond, no contact with victims or witnesses, no return to the scene of the location, no weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms he has needs to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of his release. He needs to take his mental health medications or keep up with his mental health appointments in this case. He's out on bond, though, for 2 other violent crimes, 2021 CF 3004 AO, 2021 CF 3005 AO. Of course, revoking those bonds, set bond at $0.
Jessica Scooby, refused.
All right, 2021 MM 8751 AO. I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent Ms. Scooby. I think she refused yesterday, correct?
We'll refuse the appearance. We'll waive the appearance today. All right.
I called Mr. Branson.
He refused twice, and then my brain wants to say it.
In the loop. All right, was gonna set her bond $500, no return to the scene. No contact with victims or witnesses.
Trey Windsor is behavior, Your Honor.
It's 2021 MO 1473 AO. This is a reset for a similar reason, correct? Is it mental health here? All right, Mr. Brands, you want to give him one more shot?
If appointed, we'll waive the appearance, yes, Your Honor.
Or do you want to give him another shot to see if he'll appear for Judge Gibson tomorrow? Or,
Yes, Your Honor, I do believe it was mental health on 12/12 and the behavior on 12/13.
We'll request a reset then, Your Honor.
all right, we'll give him one more chance. Right here. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Irene Almanza.
Ma'am, you're here in case 2021 CF 15761 AO on charge of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. They reviewed the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Gonna set your bond in this case in an amount of $12,000. Condition of the bond that you have no contact with the victim in this case. You maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I want to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. You have a great day, ma'am.
Your Honor, I do believe there's a child present and DCF was also called.
Yeah, well, I don't think the child was involved, correct? If I remember when I read this.
I believe
Another
he witnessed the
case.
event and told the officer that he saw his father or mother cut his mother with a knife.
Well, I think it was a pair of scissors.
It was,
but-
Your Honor. I believe the child said that he thought it was a knife.
Yeah.
I believe it's arguably
All
a
right.
4-year-old.
So what are you asking that I do?
Yeah, we just asked for her to comply with DCF, and no contact with the child at this time as he
All
is a
right.
witness.
I'll have ordered that you comply with any DCF case plan that's put in place, and that you have no contact with any witnesses from this case, would include the child involved in, that was a witness from this case. All right, you have a great day, man. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
David Dwayne Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, you're here in case 2021 CF 15766 AO on charge of abuse of elderly, battery, domestic violence by strangulation, and battery domestic violence. They reviewed the charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest.
Your Honor, regarding history, I see a prior 2007 BAT DV. It is the same victim. He has a 2010 BAT DV and arson, different victims, and then a 2010 tampering and violation of pretrial release conditions, also different victim.
All right. Mr. Johnson, in count 1, I'm gonna set your bond in amount of $10,000, count 2, 5,000, count 3, 5,000. Condition of your bond that you have no contact with the victim in this case. You maintain a separate residence from this victim. Give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You're also not to possess or consuming drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, subject to random drug and alcohol testing in this case. I want to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case.
Your Honor, he also has an out-on bond.
Out on bond,
The notice to
he's
appear.
not out on bond, that's.
Oh, it's an NTA.
It's an NTA, so we can't take any action on that case. 10 and 5 and 5. All right, yeah, have a good day, sir. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name? Yeah, come a little closer to the mic.
Victor Ortiz.
All right, sir, you're here in case 2021 CF 15767 AO on charge of battery, domestic violence by strangulation, tampering with a witness to hinder communication, and battery domestic violence. They reviewed the charging affidavit in this case. Did find probable cause for your arrest. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Maria Gomez Rivera.
All right. You can tilt the mic towards you if you. There you go.
Maria Gomez Rivera,
All right, can you spell your last name for me?
both of them.
Sure.
Gomez, and then Rivera is river with an A at the end of it.
All right, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
You can put your hand down, ma'am. Ma'am, can you tell me how you know Mr. Ortiz?
He's my husband. Well, we have, our wedding is in February.
Okay. And do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Yes, I most certainly do.
Has there been a prior instance of domestic violence between you all in the past?
No.
And did drugs or alcohol play a role in this incident?
He's a good man. He does have a problem with alcohol, but he's been good on and sober for over almost 2 years now. I believe I played a role in instigating it. So I take part of the blame here.
We're doing what now?
I believe alcohol is a factor here,
Okay,
but he's been sober for almost 2 years.
yeah,
And I brought alcohol into the home.
okay. Yeah.
Your Honor, there is that previous arrest from June 23rd of 2021, where Ms. Gomez Rivera is the alleged victim.
All right. Yeah, was alcohol involved in that case as well?
That was dropped.
That's, the question I asked the state of Florida was alcohol, or you can answer the question, was alcohol involved in that case as well?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. All right, and State, do you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Ortiz is going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Brands, do you have any questions for the witness?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Brands, you want to advocate for anything, no contact in this case?
No, with witness testimony, I believe no hostile contact order is sufficient. He does otherwise qualify for pretrial, but I would just have you set a straight bond there as well.
State, what are you asking for?
Your Honor, state would still ask for no contact, even given the victim's testimony here today. These are incredibly close in time, June and then December, and the allegations within the other affidavit are similar to this one, including punching her several times in the face, multiple times. And there was an allegation of alcohol use by both in that affidavit as well.
I mean, I'm going to tell you like this. If he is having a substance abuse issue, those are things that Mr. Ortiz is going to have to step up to the plate to deal with. If you are someone that has a dependency on a chemical substance, if you're not literally, like, this is the language that a dear friend of mine that just passed away that was huge in the AA community here in Central Florida. If you're not working on your sobriety, you're working on failing. That's how that works. So it's not a just today, tomorrow. It's every hour of every day, of every minute, while he's awake, he has to be working towards those things. And if he's not, it doesn't matter whether you bring the alcohol, somebody else gives him alcohol, alcohol's around, he can't control himself, he's gonna, act out. And most people are really good people when they're not under the influence of some substance. They're usually awesome people, but they're not made for that. And if they can't accept that, it's not on you to whether they're going to accept it or not.
I understand, but I strongly believe, and I'm not being manipulated or anything, that he's come a long way with it, and he's willing to go to rehab, to whatever, and he has really been good. He's done more good than bad. He's taken care of me for the past 6 months. I had 9 surgeries. And,
No, like I said, I'm not doubting Mr. Ortiz or whether he's a good or bad person. That's not my concern right now. My concern is right now he can't control himself, and until he can, I can't really, in good conscience, give him contact with you. So on count 1, Going to set your bond certain amount of $3,000, count 2, $500, and count 3, $500. They're going to come with pretrial release supervision. You have no contact with the victim in this case. You're going to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Be subject to random drug and alcohol testing. You also may not possess or any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. And I appointed the public defender to represent you in this case. So my orders can be modified by, this is Judge Calderon. You guys get in front of him for that hearing. All right, have a great day, sir.
Excuse me, Judge, can I ask you to please reconsider? He is really a good man, and I don't fear him. I don't think this is something that's a routine. I'm not being, I'm not enabling him. I have seen a lot of effort.
Right.
And he's gotten there. It's just, I believe I pushed him also, and I contributed as well.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that. Like, once again, these courtrooms, the criminal courtrooms, are not designed to tell me who's a good or bad person. That's not what we're here to do.
I understand.
For my job, I have three jobs in this hearing. I have to make sure that Mr. Ortiz is going to show up for court. I have to make sure Mr. Ortiz is not going to continue to present a danger to you or anybody else in the community. And he's not going to, and he's also not going to violate my orders in this time. So right now, the first thing, I'm quite sure Mr. Ortiz is going to show up for court. I don't see any prior failures appear in his history. The other two things are really where my concerns are, because I'm not sure. I'm not saying Mr. Ortiz is a good or bad person. Not something that I'm here to judge in this case. However, I have some concerns about whether Mr. Ortiz is going to be able to keep his substance abuse under control and not pose a danger to you or anybody else. So until I'm confident of that right now, which I'm not confident right now, it's probably nothing you can do right now at this moment to do that. But Mr. Judge Calderon, who's the division judge, later on in a few weeks or may feel more comfortable at that time, and you guys can proceed with your wedding and go forward, and hopefully Mr. Ortiz never has to see it inside of a courtroom or a jail again. But
he has been
just right
doing
now.
he is good on doing the right things.
Yeah.
And he has, I'm being very honest.
Yeah, so I suggest while he's spending some time away from you, that he finds an AA meeting, he finds a pathway to sobriety class. You can go across the street to First Baptist. They have a great program there. They have a bunch of, and in other locations, they're non-denominational or secular, that he can enroll in while that's happening and hopefully start a process to better himself.
But as well, he has no place to go, and he just lost his job.
Yeah. He's going to find a place to go. I'm confident Mr. Ortiz is going to find a place to go. All right? Have a great day. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Roy Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, you're here in case 2021 CF 15767AL on a charge of burglary of an occupied dwelling with assault, battery in, criminal mischief, child abuse, tampering with a witness to hinder communication of law enforcement, and battery dating violence. They reviewed the charging affidavit in your case. They find probable cause for your arrest. State, what you're asking I do is to count one of the charging affidavit in this case.
Your Honor, given that count 1 is a first-degree felony that's punishable by life, state's asking that you hold him no bond pending an Arthur hearing at a later time.
Mr. Wilson, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. Mr. Brantz, you have an argument against the state's request.
Before I do, may I have one more moment to
Yes.
confer? After conferring with Mr. Wilson, Your Honor, I would have no argument pending an Arthur hearing downtown with his attorney.
All right. Mr. Wilson, count one, gonna hold you at no bond. Count two, gonna set your bond amount of $1,000. Count three, gonna set bond amount of $8,000. Count four, gonna set your bond amount of $1,000, and count five, $1,000. Condition of the bond while you're here at the jail, that you have no contact with the victim in this case, the victims, I'm sorry, in this case. That you may not have any contact with any witnesses from this case. That you not return to the scene of the location where this incident occurred. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. The weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You also may not have any unsupervised contact with a child under the age of 18 years old. I appointed the public defender to represent you. You have a great day, sir.
Your Honor, he does have an out on bond.
Sorry, on the out on bond case, you are out on bond 2021 CF 15617AO. Of course, revoking that bond, set bond at $0. You have a great day, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Tiffany Mincy Bromer.
Ma'am, we here in case 2021 MM 8093AO on charge of battery domestic violence. Did review the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. And she doesn't qualify. Ms. Davis? No? All right, ma'am, I'm gonna set your bond in this case amount of $500. It's gonna come with pretrial release supervision. You have no contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. The weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. And I'm going to, you may not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, subject to random drug and alcohol testing. I want to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. You have a great day, ma'am.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Well, first talk to Mr. Brantz. Everything you tell me is on the record and can be used against you.
Okay.
Talk to your attorney first before talking to me. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Alexandra Bernardi.
Ma'am, we here in case 2021 MM 8785AO on charge of battery dating violence. They reviewed the charging affidavit in your case and did find probable cause for your arrest. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Lucas Salazar, last name Salazar.
Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Put your hand down. Sir, can you tell me how you know, is Miss Bernetti?
Bernardi.
Renati, sorry.
She's my girlfriend.
And do you want to have contact with her while this case is pending?
Absolutely.
Has there been previous instances of domestic violence between you all in the past?
Only once. Should be on record.
I can't hear you.
Only once. It should be on record.
How long ago was that?
4 months ago, maybe.
All right. And did drugs and alcohol play a role in this incident?
In this incident, I'm unsure. They did in the other one though.
I'll say it again.
The other one, the one that I mentioned.
No, this one.
the first
In this
time.
incident, did drugs and alcohol play a role in this incident?
Unsure.
All right. Say, do you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Ms. Bernardi, I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you. Mr. Brantz, do you have any questions for the witness?
No questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that previous arrest was July 26th of 2021 and was the same victim.
Your Honor. I just wanted to say, respectfully, I don't think that she should have been arrested. I asked and pleaded with them not to. This was a noise complaint, live in an apartment building, and that's why the police were there. Otherwise,
Right.
this never would have come to this, sir.
All right, so this is my concern. I'm going to just tell you how this works. If I order her to have no hostile contact with you, and there's a noise complaint, she's going to go to jail. That's just bottom line. So I'm not really confident about whether you all gonna be able to handle that. I'm just.
I assure you that we can.
Say, give me a little bit of facts of this last case.
Yes, Your Honor. It was July 26, 2021. It is alleged that the victim stated they left the defendant to go speak with a friend. The defendant became angry. The defendant then confronted the victim. The victim grabbed the defendant's shoulders and she kicked his ankle from the back and pushed him onto the floor. Later, he was giving her belongings. The defendant spit twice at the victim and punched him in the chest and scratched his body. Law enforcement observed the scratches on his arm, above his left eyebrow, bruises on his chest and stomach. The victim provided audio recording of the incident. All events occurred in Orange County, Florida. The defendant said it happened down at the pool.
Your Honor.
And law enforcement did not observe any injuries on her.
Ms. Bernardi, do you have a job?
Yes, sir.
Where do you work?
I work with for my mom's company, Anthers Gallery Incorporation, and then also I have a job at the hall over at on the yard in Ivanhoe.
So what do you do at those different places? Like, which,
Event modeling and selling. So I'm her sales girl,
Okay.
my mom, and then the other one is server. And I run her social media account and all the other stuff to help her with her business.
Bernardi, do this. We're gonna have a trust moment at the moment, right now.
Yes, sir.
And you just may be someone at the young age of 26 that alcohol is just not for you. You know, just what it is. Just you're just not a person that can consume that substance. I want to set your bond at $1,000. You can make a condition that you have no hostile contact with your boyfriend. No hostile contact means this: there can be no threats between you two. Obviously, there can be no violence. There can be no abusive language used between the two of you all. Because no matter whether he calls law enforcement, like I said, you guys live in this apartment complex, and their neighbors on all four sides, if you live in the middle somewhere, call law enforcement. You're going to go to jail for violating my orders. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You may not possess any weapons or firearms. The weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You also may not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol while out on release. In this case, you'll be subject to random drug and alcohol testing. Going to are you appointed the public defender to represent you in this case? Go right this, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Jesus Manuel Cortez.
Sir, you're here in case 2021 MM 8786 AO on a charge of battery domestic violence. They reviewed the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Set your bond in this case amount $10,000, conditioning the bond that you have no contact with the victim in this case. You maintain a separate residence from this victim. Give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I want to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. You have a great day, sir. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Davies.
All right. So you're here in case 2021 MM 8801 AO on charge of violation of domestic violence injunction.
Your Honor. May I be heard as to probable cause?
Sure.
I would just like to see a few more facts tying our client to some violation. I know the facts do indicate that he was parked near the victim's apartment building. But in the first paragraph, it was called as a disturbance, and then the officer met with the victim, who just advised that there was an injunction, didn't advise that he had come up to the apartment, knocked on the door, tried to contact her in any way. It also doesn't indicate that he doesn't live at the same complex.
Well, he was sleeping in his car, so.
But it doesn't say he doesn't live on the complex, so I don't know why anybody sleeps in their car, but I would just not find probable cause on the violation due to the limited facts.
All right, let me go back. I was looking at gander the injunction. All right. All right, state,
Yes, Your Honor.
which argument?
Oh, I didn't know if you had it.
I'm reading it, I was reading the injunction before Mr. Brands was talking, but then I went back to reading it. Go ahead, tell me what you think.
Your Honor, usually within the injunction, it's the defendant's not supposed to be at the victim's residence. He doesn't have to go up to the door or make actual contact. However, those are often conditions within the injunction as well. However, the injunction generally states that he's not allowed to be within 500 feet of the victim's residence. In this affidavit, it states that he was parked next to her apartment building and sleeping, which will be a violation of the injunction that was active and served in November. So state would contend that there is enough PC within this affidavit as he is at her apartment complex, which the injunction says he cannot do.
May I respond?
I was gonna put on this, tell you, Mr. Brands, on the injunction, at least it says that the testimony from the petitioner is that it's a temporary injunction. It's not the final hearing, hasn't been happened, partially because it seems that Mr. Melendez Davis is evading service of that hearing. But she says that she does not live there. It's a final injunction here is supposed to happen last month. All right, go ahead, Mr. Brands.
Just to the 500 feet portion of the injunction, that nowhere in the affidavit does it say that he was within or close to 500 feet from the victim. If that was there as well, I would probably see probable cause, but not at this time, Your Honor.
I always wondered, I mean, 'cause let me see, does it say, let me look at what the injunction says. It doesn't actually give a apartment number on the injunction. I think it just lists the building. So you can't, from the reading of this injunction, you can't be within 500 feet of the building. So I'm gonna find probable cause for Mr. Melendez-Diaz's arrest. Mr. Melendez-Diaz, you have a copy of this injunction? Mr. Melendez-Davis, do you have a copy of the injunction?
I got the copy in the same house.
No, do you have a copy of the injunction?
No, I got on November 26th.
Yep,
He gave me the junction.
yep.
I get out and she pick it on me. I go to the house.
I believe he's saying he has a copy at that residence, Your Honor.
All right, do you need a copy of the injunction?
Yeah.
So you print one, or can somebody?
Your Honor, state would also, when setting bond, he did have a prior ag assault DV
Yeah, I'm
from August,
looking at his history right now.
same victim, and a bat DV from October of 2021, same victim.
All right.
The injunction won't pull back up for me, Your Honor.
Can you print in 2021 DR 12989 AO? Can you print line 11 for me, please? 129890, line 11 contains the temporary injunction. I think, let me see, 11, there's another one. Well, that's actually his print, line 13. I think nothing changed between the amended one other than the amended hearing date. Looks to be an injunction hearing set for December 30th of this year at 2 p.m. in front of Judge Pender Rodriguez. But at this time, Mr. Mendez Davis, want to set your bond in this matter amount of $20,000. Condition of bond that you have no contact with the victim, that you abide by the injunction in 2021 DR 12989 AO, as well as you not possess any weapons or firearms. Weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release, that you not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You're out on ROR, but I was trying to see if that was from a 33-day motion or not.
Your Honor, do you have a courtroom by chance for the hearing on the 30th?
1 second. It says 16B.
16B?
Yep.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I do not see a 33-day motion. I believe it was just an ROR. The case came in January 24th, state filed in May. However, I do not see a 33-day motion ever filed.
Well, he bonded out on the 25th. And then there was an order revoking his bond in August. Then they filed a motion to reinstate the bond in October. The information was filed in May, so he wasn't in custody before then, like during that time. So in 2021 CF 970 AL, court's going to revoke that bond, set bond at $0. Appoint the public defender to represent him in his new case. Can't say you didn't have a copy of the injunction. You just try to take the injunction, go see Judge Pender Rodriguez at the end of the month. Have a great day.
I approach, Your Honor.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name? Ms. Porter, you here in case 2021 MM 8779 AO on charge of battery domestic violence. They reviewed a charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Going to set your bond in this case amount $250. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision. You have no contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. The weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. And I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. You have a great day, ma'am.
you.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Stacy Elise Schick.
Ma'am, we here in case 2021 MM 8793 AO on a charge of battery domestic violence. They reviewed the charging affidavit in this case. Did find probable cause for your arrest. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name and spell your last name?
Ralph Schick, S-H-I-C-K.
All right. Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you put your hand down. Can you tell me how you know Ms. Schick?
She's my wife.
And do you want to have, well, I see she has an injunction in place. Is that with you?
Yes, that was recently lifted, but there was a previous injunction for the same type of issue.
Does anybody have a case number?
It appears to be 2021 DR 10911.
DR 1.
10911.
Give me 1 second. Let me get that pulled up.
There appears to be, there maybe 3 of them. There's also 10308
Anybody know what
and 10159.
the active one?
10159 is the one, the victim against the defendant.
Is that 10?
10159.
59. Okay.
There's an order dismissing injunction after the hearing on November 30th.
So what is there an active injunction? Because
It was
Schlick
dismissed
went
and-
on the Judge Leach on the end of last month. She granted a motion to modify or dissolve the petitioner's injunction against domestic violence with minor children
Yes, Your Honor.
after a mediation agreement was entered.
Yes, I see an order dismissing in 10159 on 11/30. I see an order dismissing in the 10308 case from September. So those two are at least dismissed. And the only other DR case I see is the 10911, which was denied before the injunction on September 13th. So I do not believe there is an active injunction pending currently, as they've either been dismissed or denied before hearing.
All right. All right, Mr. Schlick, do you want to have contact with your wife?
No face-to-face contact, but I'd be okay with non-hostile phone or electronic communication.
All right, so I'm not really set up in this courtroom for that. For you all to use the parenting app and those kind of things like that. That's usually something I leave for the division judges to do, or really more specifically Judge Leach, because she's the one kind of managing your time sharing plan and those kind of things like that. So it's really all or none. It's either no contact or no hostile contact.
I'd request no contact.
All right. And did drugs or alcohol play a role in this incident?
Yes, alcohol.
All right. And Ms. Schlick, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you at this time. Ms. State, do you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Brantz?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, man, I'm gonna set your bond in this case in the amount of $1,000. It's gonna come with pretrial release supervision. You have no contact with your husband right now. Now, I want to suggest that you all get in front of Judge Leach as soon as possible to work out your time sharing situation with your children, whether that's gonna come to a temporary halt or not. I'm not sure. That's something that Judge Leach is gonna determine. You have to maintain a separate residence from Mr. Slick. Does she have anything at your house?
Yes, she has her belongings at my house.
All right. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be returned to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You also may not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You're subject to random drug and alcohol testing through pretrial release in this case. Seems to be a lot of that going on this morning. Some people just not made to drink, just what it is. And if that's going to be, is that an issue that's going to, cause you to be here with me? Just you may want to take some steps to resolve that issue through AA or any of the other resources that we have throughout the county to help you with that issue, okay? All right, everybody have a great day. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Leon.
What's your full name? All right, Mr. Singh, you're here in case 2021 MM 8799 AO on charge of battery domestic violence. They reviewed the charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Was Mr. Singh in front of me earlier this year for this prior case?
He has an arrest with the same victim in April of 2021 and of October of 2021.
That's what I thought.
I can check to see if it was in front of your honor.
Seen Mr. Singh with us before this year for the same charges. Mr. Singh, I'm going to set bond in your case in the amount of $10,000. Condition your bond that you have no contact with the victim in this case. You need to maintain a separate residence from this victim. Give you one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. Was not having possessed any weapons or firearms. The weapons or firearms you have need to be returned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Not allowed to possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. Give me 1 second. All right, everybody have a great day.
Morning.
All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Wayne Sober, sir.
Sir, you're here in case 2021 MM 8778 AO on charge of battery domestic violence. Did review the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest.
Your Honor, I do have a 2019 non-arrest assault DV, same victim. 2005 BAT DV, same victim. 2005 BAT DV, same victim. 2020 BAT DV, same victim. 2003 BAT DV, same victim. 2006 BAT DV, same victim. Then he has a 2003 non-arrest BAT DV, different. 2003 BAT DV, different, and a 2001 BAT DV, different victim. The last one I have for this victim was 2020.
All right, sir, I'm gonna talk to Mr. Brandt, if you like. I'm appointed public defender to represent you.
No questions, Your Honor.
Well,
It's okay.
it's okay.
You don't have to say anything.
All right, sir, we're going to set your bond in this case amount of $15,000. Conditional bond that you had no contact with the victim in this case. Maintain a separate residence from this victim. Give you one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. And I want to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter.
Your Honor, I wasn't even at home when this supposedly had occurred to this. I was at football practice, and I have proof that I wasn't home when this happened this time.
Okay.
I did not do nothing, sir. And that's all I'm saying. And then all those other arrests, I was not convicted. I might have arrested, we might have arguments, but I never had a conviction.
All right.
But one conviction. And I feel like that bond is way too high for something that I didn't do, sir.
I'm not here to determine whether you did it or not. That's just.
You determining that how much my bond is and determining.
I'm determining how much your bond is because I'm looking at you have 8 prior felonies, 2 prior misdemeanors. You have several violations of probation. I was at that amount before you even before the state even got me to that history.
I have what? I don't have no.
You have multiple violations of probation.
Right, but that was all the same charges. It's not for showing up.
Those are.
There's no new conviction.
What do you think probation is for? Probation.
It's no convictions.
For violating your probation?
I mean, it's no new charge. It was a technical that I violated them.
Well, so technicals are about violating court orders. So my bond condition is about setting bonds that you confident you're not going to violate my court orders. Which
I don't violate them. No,
you have a history of violating court orders.
But I didn't do nothing, sir.
I'm not here, once again, I'm not here to determine what are you doing.
I wasn't even there.
That sounds like a great thing. You can provide it to your attorney, you can provide it to the state of Florida, they can choose not to prosecute the case. That's all things that can be done. But my job is to make sure you're gonna show up for court and not violate my orders.
I do show up for court.
But you violate court orders.
But what court orders I violated?
Sir, violations of probation is all about violating court orders. That's what violations of probation technically are.
But there was technical.
Technical violations are violations of the court order. Literally, violation of probation. You get a probation sheet that says you shall do this, you shall not do that. That's what a court orders you to do when you're on probation. It allows you to be out in the community and abide by court orders. And when you violate your probation, whether technical or in a new law scenario, those are violations of court orders. You understand what I'm saying? That's what that is. It's not, that's just what it is.
I don't understand, because all that stuff was settled, and then now I'm still living it. It's like I'm getting double charged for the same charge more than 1 or 2 times.
That's what the law tells me I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to look at your current, prior, and past behavior, determine whether
That's like
you're
double
gonna.
jeopardy, though, right, Mr.
No, double jeopardy is a different legal standard. So, but those are things I have to use to set in your release conditions right now. That's all I'm here for, release conditions. Whether you are guilty or not guilty of this, I have no idea. I wasn't there. I'm not the arbiter. I'm not the finder of fact in that situation. I'm not the one that says you did it or not. I don't know. I mean, but I think you've been with this person for 20 years almost, from what I can tell. Like you know.
We have our differences and people lie, bro, just like I said.
That's exactly.
Just like I said.
I'm not sure if I want to be with somebody that's going to be lying on me, getting me locked up.
But I was at football practice when this supposed to had occurred. And I was on the phone with somebody at 8:21, and I wasn't at home.
Yeah. All right, have a great one. It even happened then. It happened calling in the middle of the night at 9 o'clock. All right. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Marley Tatami.
All right. And good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Andre Tommy.
Sir, you are here in case 2021 MM 8782AO on charge of battery domestic violence. They reviewed the charging affidavit in your case. They did find probable cause for your arrest. All right, ma'am, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, none but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, ma'am, you can put your hand down. Can you tell me how you know Mr. Tomlin?
Andre Tommy, married for 9 years.
All right. And do you want to have contact with him while this case is pending?
Yes, I do.
Has there been any history of domestic violence between you all in the past?
Yes, there has.
All right. And when was the most recent incident prior to this case?
I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, 6 years ago.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't remember.
All right. And why's he aggravated battery on a pregnant person, which, so you have a child that's
That was 7 years ago.
8 and 10, so had to be somewhere between that time.
7 years.
All right. And did drugs or alcohol play a role in this incident?
No, sir.
All right. Say, do you have any questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Tommy, I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you. Mr. Brandt, do you have any questions for this witness?
No questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, in regards to the dates, he did have a 2013 ag bat pregnant person, bat DV and tampering with the same victim, and then a 2016 ag assault with a firearm, DV, ag bat, great bodily harm, and tampering, same victim. So a 2013 and a 2016.
All right. And does anybody want to advocate for anything other than no contact?
Nothing other than that from the state, Your Honor.
At this time, Your Honor.
Mr. Tomlin, I'm going to set your bond in this case amount of $5,000. Condition the bond that you had no contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence from this victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at that location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. The weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I want to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. Do you have any questions about the stipulations or your no contact order?
No, sir.
All right. Does anybody have anything else?
Your Honor, what was the bond amount?
$5,000.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great day.
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
The defendant can hear me, Your Honor.
All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Mi nombre es Ramón Fría Valerio Núñez.
My name is Ramon Frias Valerio Nunez.
Sir, you're here in case 2021 CF 15771AO on charge of first-degree murder with a firearm. Judge signing your warrant in this case has found probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. State, we asking that do as to the sole count and the warrant.
Your Honor, given that Mr. Farias Valero is charged with a capital offense, state is asking that you hold him no bond pending an Arthur hearing.
Mr. Brandt, do you have a response to the state's request?
No argument at this time, Your Honor, pending that Arthur hearing with his attorney.
All right. Mr. Ferris, you are going to be held at no bond at this time. Condition of your bond that you have no contact with this victim's family or any witness, which I believe one of the witnesses is your wife. That you not possess any weapons or firearms. The weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. If you are ever released in this case, you should not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Say you asking for any other conditions?
No, Your Honor.
Well, condition that you not return to the scene of the location. That's all right. Everybody have a great day.
Okay.
that was it, Mr. Figueroa. You have a great day.
Thank you. You too, Your Honor.
Morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
David Bishop.
Okay. One second. No, you already up there. Might as well do one. All right, sir, you're here in case 2021 MO 1475 AO on a violation of a city ordinance. They reviewed the charging affidavit, did find probable cause for your arrest. The city of Orlando is offering a withhold of adjudication and guilt and court costs to resolve this case. Is that something you want to do today? You don't want to resolve your case today? You guys got to answer me out loud. Say again?
No, sir.
All right, so I'm going to stay your bond in this matter. You're out on bond in case 2021. I think it's bond 250? I forgot. This is Bishop. Bishop. I thought bond was 250.
22.
Hold on. Yep, saying you're bond $250 because you're not returned to the scene of the location.
Are we just gonna bond out?
You're out on bond in case 2021 CF 15587 AO. Court find probable cause to commit a new law offense, going to revoke that bond. Going to set bond in that case in the amount of $8,000. Condition of the bond that you not return to the scene of the location, no contact with any victims or witnesses, no weapons or firearms in that case. Any weapons or firearms he has need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of the release. All right, have a great day, sir. Now, which one are you calling, Taylor or Hemingway? Which one?
Taylor, she's mental health.
All right, it's 2021 MM8800AO on charge. Ms. Taylor's here on charge of pay theft and trespass on property after warning. Going to appoint the public defender to represent her.
We'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
Say we're going to be able to resolve this case.
No, Your Honor, it's enhanceable.
Okay. All right, we're going to stay her bonds in count one, $500, count two, $100. No return to the scene of the location, no contact with any victims or witnesses.
And Kiana Hemingway is also mental health.
It's 2021 CF 15751 AO. I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent Ms. Hemingway.
We'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
Give me 1 second with her case. Is this one of the valet?
Yes, Your Honor, within
Okay.
that.
All right, I want to release Ms. Hemingway on mental health pretrial release in this case. If she doesn't qualify for mental health pretrial release, I'm going to set her bond amount of $2,000. Condition her bond and mental health pretrial release that she have no contact with the victims or witnesses, no return to the scene of the location, no weapons or firearms. Weapons or firearms she has needs to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of her release. Is y'all to take her mental health medications in the dosage that's prescribed to her. Morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Booker Davis.
Mr. Davis, you're here in case 2021 MM828AW on a charge of trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance. They reviewed the charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest. The state is there offer to resolve Mr. Davis's case.
Yes, Your Honor, the offer conveyed was an adjudication, credit time served, and no return.
All right. Mr. Davis, you want to accept that offer from the state of Florida of an adjudication of guilt, credit time served in this case?
Yes, sir.
Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, so the charge you're facing is a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable up to 1 year in the county jail and a $1,000 fine. Do you understand that?
Excuse me?
Maximum penalties for the charge you're facing are 1 year in the county jail and a $1,000 fine. Do you understand that?
Oh, yes, sir.
Do you want to enter a plea of guilty or no contest to resolve this case?
No contest.
Do you understand by entering a plea of no contest, you're going to waive all the rights outlined on the plea form that's in front of you?
Do I take my plea?
Yeah, you understand you're waiving the rights on the plea form.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Davis, just look at me real quick. Mr. Davis, hello. You understand you waive the right to have a trial in this matter?
You understand the right to a trial?
Oh, yes, yes,
All right. You understand you waiving your right for the state had to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt at that trial?
yes, sir.
You understand you waiving the right to have an attorney appointed to represent you in this case?
Yes, sir.
You understand you waiving your right to challenge the evidence in this case, call witnesses on your behalf? I can't hear you.
Yes,
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
no, sir.
Have you now or in the past been diagnosed with a mental health illness?
No,
Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you into this plea?
no,
You understand by entering this plea, if you're not a United States citizen, could subject you to deportation.
yes,
They did have an opportunity for you to charge your affidavit. In this case, did find a factual basis contained therein. Going to accept your plea of no contest. Find your plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Going to adjudicate you guilty of the charge. Give you credit for the 2 days you spent in the Orange County Jail with 2 days credit time served. Court costs and costs of prosecution in this case are $273. I'm going to give you 1 year from today's date to pay that money directly to the clerk in full. You have 30 days from today's date to appeal your judgment and sentence in writing. You have a great day, sir. All right, it's Mr. Galloway. All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name? Mr. Galloway, you're here in case 2021 MM 8786 AO on charge of trespass after warning. Did review the charging affidavit in your case. Did find probable cause for your arrest. Say it was an offer to resolve Mr. Galloway's case.
Yes, Your Honor. The offer conveyed was an adjudication, credit time served.
Mr. Galloway, do you want to accept the offer for the state of Florida of an adjudication of guilt, credit time served?
Yes, sir.
Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in?
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Put your hand down. Sir, the charge you're facing on trespass on property after warning is a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable up to 1 year in the county jail and a $1,000 fine is the maximum penalties. You understand? Do you want to enter a plea of guilty or no contest to resolve this case?
Yes.
Do you understand about entering a plea of no contest? They've got her wake-up alarm. Do you understand about entering a plea of no contest? You're going to waive all the rights on the plea form? All right. Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication? Have you now or in the past been diagnosed with a mental health illness?
No, sir.
Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you into this plea?
No, yeah.
Do you understand about entering this plea if you're not a United States citizen, could subject you to deportation from this country? I did have an opportunity to view your charging affidavit. In this case, did find a factual basis contained therein. Going to accept your plea of no contest. Find your plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Going to adjudicate you guilty of the charge. Give you credit for 2 days in the Orange County Jail with 2 days credit time served. Court costs of prosecution in this case are $273. Give you 1 year from today's date to pay that money directly to the clerk in full. You have 30 days from today's date to appeal your judgment and sentence in writing. You have a great day, sir. All right, good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Yesenia Guzman.
Your Honor, may I have a moment to confer?
Yeah, I'm looking, did the co-defendant get arrested? I didn't see one, that's all. Santiago?
I didn't see it.
Bonded? Oh, you bonded? All right. Good morning, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Yesenia Guzman.
Ma'am, we here in case 2021 MM 8795 AO on charge of loitering and prowling. Reviewed the charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Going to release you on pretrial release in this case. Conditioning your pretrial release, you not return to the scene of the location. You have no contact with Mr. Santiago, your co-defendant in this case. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you in this matter. You have a great day, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Oh, sorry, hold on. Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Willie.
What happened to Charles? Indigola.
This is Willie Heath.
I don't have a, well, next person I had was.
You don't have Keith?
Is it Willie Heath?
He's in City County, Your Honor.
Yeah, I understand, but he's in the wrong section. You call it the.
Oh.
All right. Sir, you're here in case 2021 MO 1474 AO on a city ordinance violation for failure to ID. To review the charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest. The city of Orlando is offering a withhold adjudication of guilt and court costs to resolve your case. That's something you want to do this morning? I can't hear you.
Yes, sir.
Can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You can put your hand down, sir. The charge you're facing is a second-degree misdemeanor, punishable up to 60 days in the county jail and a $500 fine. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to enter a plea of guilty or no contest to resolve this case?
Yes, sir.
With guilty or no contest?
No contest.
Do you understand by entering a plea of no contest, you're going to waive the rights on the plea forms in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, sir.
Have you now or in the past been diagnosed with a mental health illness?
No, sir.
Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Do you understand by entering this plea, if you're not a United States citizen, it could subject you to deportation from this country?
Yes, sir.
I did have opportunity to review your charging affidavit in this case, did find the factual basis contained therein, going to accept your plea of no contest, find your plea is freely and voluntarily entered. I'm going to withhold adjudication of guilt, give you credit for the 2 days you spent in the Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served. Court costs in this case are $223. Give you 1 year from today's date to pay that money directly to the clerk in full. You have 30 days from today's date to appeal your judgment and sentence in writing. You have a great day, sir.
Yes, sir. Is it?
That's it.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. You got to slide in front of one mic. There you go. Can you tell me your name, please?
My name's Charles Ngolia.
Mr. Angolia, you're here in case 2021 MM 8798 AO on charge of trespass on property after warning. Ms. Davis.
Your Honor, may I have a moment to confer?
Yeah. Can you, you say he wasn't interviewed, but was he qualified? All right, Mr. Angola, I'm going to release you on pretrial release in this case. Conditioning your pretrial release that you not return to the scene of the location and no contact with any victims or witnesses from this case. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You have a great day, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Honor. God bless, Your Honor. Thank you much.
All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name? Good afternoon, I'm sorry. Tell me your name.
Jeremiah Rojo.
Mr. Rojo, you're here in case 2021 MM 8791 AO on charge of possession of cannabis, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting officer without violence. They reviewed the charging affidavit. In this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. State, is that, are you guys continuing prosecution on these cases?
They're resisting, Your Honor. State conveyed an adjudication credit time served, and then in relation to.
Adjudication credit time, sir?
I'm sorry?
Is that adjudication credit time, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
He does have a previous conviction, and then. State
Juvenile,
would-
he has all juvenile history from he's 19 years old.
He's 19, Your Honor, so it'd still be on his score sheet since it's within 5 years. So it still would count, but state would, no plus 1 and 2 be applied to 3.
All right. I think Mr. Rowe probably is gonna qualify for one of these programs you guys have, so.
He likely would, Your Honor.
I'm gonna release Mr. Rowe, I'm gonna release you on pretrial release in this case. Condition of pretrial release that you not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You'll be subject to random drug testing in this case. If you have a valid prescription for having cannabis, you need to go talk to a doctor and get a prescription. I'm gonna appoint the public defender to represent you. You have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Alicia Shaw Barnett, Your Honor.
Jones? Good morning, sir. Sorry, good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Deshaun Jones.
Mr. Jones, you're here in case 2021 MO 1476 AO on a charge of open container. They reviewed the charging affidavit. In this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. The city of Orlando is offering you a withhold adjudication of guilt and court costs to resolve this case. Is that something that you want to do today?
Yeah.
Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in?
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You put your hand down, sir. Sir, the charge you're facing is a second-degree misdemeanor, punishable up to 60 days in the county jail, and a $500 fine is the maximum penalty. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Do you want to enter a plea of guilty or no contest to resolve this case?
Oh, no contest.
Do you understand by entering a plea of no contest, you're going to waive all the rights outlined on the plea form that's in front of you? You understand you're waiving your rights in this case?
Yeah.
All right. Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
Have you now or in the past been diagnosed with a mental health illness?
No.
Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you to enter this plea?
No.
You understand by entering this plea, if you're not a United States citizen, it could subject you to deportation. You understand if you're not a United States citizen, you can be deported from this country based on this plea?
Yes.
I did have an opportunity to view your charging affidavit. In this case, did find a factual basis contained therein. Going to accept your plea of no contest. Find your plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Going to withhold adjudication of guilt. Give you credit for the 1 day that you spent in the Orange County Jail with 1 day credit time served. Court costs and costs of prosecution in this case are, court costs in this case are $223. Give you 1 year from today's date to pay that money directly to the clerk in full. You have 30 days from today's date to appeal your judgment and sentence in writing. You have a great day, sir.
Your Honor, may I approach?
We probably got one more here. We got to talk to Mr. Bradley here. And the next person too. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Adam Bradley.
Sorry, good afternoon, Mr. Bradley. You're here in case 2021 CT 8103 AO on charge of no valid driver's license. Viewed the charging affidavit in this case did find probable cause for your arrest. State, was there any offers to resolve all of these cases?
Not at this time, Your Honor, due to the close temporal proximity.
Bonded out last month. Supposed to return today. So you're supposed to have arraignment today, I'm guessing, in these other cases? He's asking?
No, I got arrested last night. I was supposed to go to court at 8:30. My lawyer just put in all my stuff on my ticket and all that. She just paid it.
He does have private counsel on those other cases.
All right.
Inform me.
I was just saying I had a return date of today. Yep, and he has a warrant for his arrest.
Is there a warrant, Your Honor?
Yep, and you represent him on that case. You don't have a private counsel. You have a public defender.
Yeah, that's cause that warrant is from,
No, you have a warrant issue for your arrest today because you were supposed to be in court today instead of my courtroom at the Orange County Jail for making allegations of a new law offense.
I didn't know that. I asked the officer last night. I said I gotta go to court in the morning at 8:30. He was like, oh, he don't know how that works. So,
Which is true. You probably didn't know because you were represented by the public defender's office in that case. Nobody checked the jail list.
and that was for not
Hold on.
going to court on the
Hold on.
7th and going to court today, right?
I'm talking. Let me talk to Judge Cameron. Also looks like you have a waiver entered in your case too. Mr. Branch, you may want to have a conversation with your counterparts downtown because they entered a waiver and then still did nothing while Mr. Bradley was getting a warrant issued for him this morning.
Understood, Your Honor. Yes, I will.
All right, Mr. Bradley, while we're waiting to hear back from Judge Cameron, if you want to resolve all your cases, I resolve all of them with adjudication of guilt, credit time served in these cases. But right now, if you just step back for a minute, we're gonna call your case back in a minute, once I hear back from Judge Cameron about this warrant he issued for your arrest. All right, Mr. Bradley, Ms. Bradley, I gotta call these other cases, so you gotta step back for a second. All right. Good morning, ma'am, can you tell me your name? So good afternoon, ma'am, can you tell me your name? I can't hear you.
Agneris Everhunting.
Ma'am, we're here for two matters. The first one being 2021 CT 189 AO on a failure to appear warrant. Bond in that case is $2,000. You're also here in 2021 CF 15750 AO on charge of possession of cocaine. Reviewed the charging affidavit in that case, did find probable cause for your arrest. The state was an offer to resolve this driver license suspended case.
Your Honor, she can resolve it with an adjudication credit time served.
Ma'am, did you want to resolve your driving license suspended case with adjudication of guilt credit time served this morning?
Your Honor, do we represent her in that case? The failure to
I don't
appear?
know. All right, let's look, huh? No.
Hmm? Let's get Bond and talk to us. He's going to give you a bond. I think she just wants to request straight bond on both counts, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, do you want questions? Do you want to resolve your case today?
No.
All right. Do you have a place where you're going to be living? Because you got a failure to appear warrant from February, and we haven't seen you since then. So where you have an address you want to provide to the court?
Yeah. It's 4855 South OBT.
Say it again. Is this 4855 South OBT?
Mm-hmm.
Apartment 106? All right. Can I get a change of address for her traffic case? Mr. Brants.
2839.
Mr. Brants.
Excuse me.
Yes, Your Honor.
She needs to change her address in the traffic case because we sent you notice and you weren't responding. That's so the judge issued a warrant for your arrest.
Really?
right, man, I'm gonna stay your bond and your warrant, $2,000. As your possession of cocaine case, set bond $1,000. Condition your bond that you not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Be subject to random drug and alcohol testing while you're out on release in that case. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases. You have a great day, man.
Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Baker.
Mr. Baker, you're here in 4 matters. The first one being 2021 CF 15763 AO on a charge of aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, neglect of a child, and possession of a Schedule 5 substance. You're also here in 2021 CT 2179 AW on charge of leaving the scene of a crash with property damage, and also here in 2021 CT 2180 AW on charge of no valid driver's license. Viewed the charging affidavit in those cases, did find probable cause for your arrest. As to your felony count, the court is count 1, the court's gonna set your bond in the amount of $5,000, count 2, $5,000, and count 3, $150. As to your leaving the scene of accident, charge in 2179 AW, set bond amount of $1,500. As a 2021 CT 2181 AW, bond amount of $500. Condition of bonds all the same in those cases. May not operate a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. May not have any contact with any victims or witnesses from that case. May not have any unsupervised contact with any child under the age of 18 years old. May not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, subject to random drug and alcohol testing. You're out on bond in case 2021 CT 1891 AO for a failure to appear warrant. Bond in that case is $0. It's going to remain at $0. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you in all your cases. You have a great day, sir. 150. 1,500 on the driver's license, no, leaving the scene, 500 on the no valid driver's license. Failure to appear is no bond. Yeah, conditions on, I'm sorry, on all the new cases. Sorry. All the new cases, I apologize. Yep. Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name?
David Bendel.
So Bendel, you're here in case 2021 CF 15753 AO on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and battery. Did review the charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Set bond to count 1, $5,000, count 2, $100. Condition on the bond that you have no contact with the victim. Now return to the scene of the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. And I want to appoint the public defender to represent you. You have a great day, sir.
Between the Brumfield bonded out, Your Honor.
Okay.
Angelo Bush refused.
He refused?
Yes, sir.
All right. It's 2021 CF 15760 AO. Mr. Bush, you're going to appoint the public defender to represent him.
Waive the appearance, Your Honor.
I lost the updated one. Do you have any criminal history for Mr. Bush?
He's currently on probation, Your Honor, out of Orange County.
All right, I'm going to stay Mr. Bush's bond at $1,000. Condition of bond, no drugs, alcohol without a valid prescription. He is on probation in Orange County case 2007 CF 3517. Court find probable cause for armed view violation is gonna set bond at no bond in that case. Appoint the public defender to represent him in all his cases. Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Roman Carroll, behavior, Your Honor.
I'm gonna appoint the public defender to represent Carroll, 2021 CF 15754 AO.
We'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, did find probable cause for his arrest in this case. Set bond at count 1 in amount of $2,000, count 2, $1,000, count 3, 100. Conditions: no contact with the victim, no contact with any witnesses, no return to the scene, no weapons or firearms. The weapons or firearms he has needs to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of his release. Next person I had was Ellison. Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name?
James Ellison Jr.
Mr. Ellison, you're here in case 2021 CT 8104AO on charge of no valid driver's license. You're also here in case 2021 CF 15759AO on charge of possession of cocaine. Did review the charging affidavits in both cases. Did find probable cause for your arrest. As your driver's license suspended case, going to stay your bond $500. As your cocaine case, bond $1,000. Condition of bond are the same. No operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. May not possessing drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Be subject to random drug testing in this case. In these cases, you're out on bond in 2021 CF 4769AO.
Sir.
Court's going to revoke that bond, set a new bond at $0 in that case. Going to appoint a public defender to represent you in 2 new cases. You have a great day, sir.
Your Honor, I believe the out on bond is 14769.
What did I say?
On
Well,
the,
I was missing up on
it's
1.
missing the 1, Your Honor.
All right, 14769. Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name? Mr. Green, you're here in case 2021 CF 15749AO on charge of grand theft motor vehicle. They reviewed the charging affidavit in this case. Did find probable cause for your arrest. Going to set your bond in count 1 amount of $2,000, count 2 $150. Condition of the bond: no contact with any victims or witnesses. You may not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Subject to random drug testing. Want to appoint the public defender to represent you. You have a great day.
Ms. Hemingway, is mental health, Your Honor?
All right, next person I have is Jones. All right, good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name? Jones, you're here in case 2021 CF 15752AO on charge of possession of cocaine. You're also here in 2021 MM 8794AO on charge of petty theft. Reviewed the charging affidavits in both cases. Did find probable cause for your arrest. As to your possession of cocaine, bonds $1,000. As to your petty theft, bond is $250. Condition of the bonds: that you not possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Subject to random drug testing. No return to the scene. No contact with any victims or witnesses from that case. You're out on bond in 2021 MM 7583AO. Court's going to revoke that bond, set a new bond at $0. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you in any case you're not already appointed. You have a great day. Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Cedric Mackey.
Got to sign from the mic. Say it again.
Cedric Mackey.
Mr. Mackey, here in case 2021 CF 15747 AO on charges of carrying a concealed firearm, possession of cannabis, possession of oxycodone, possession of firearm ammunition by a convicted felon, and 6 counts of possession of ammunition by a convicted felon. Did review the charging affidavit in your case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Going to set your bond and count one, count one, 150, count two, 150, count three, 150, count four, 5,000, and the remaining counts, $150. Condition of bond, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You'll be subject to random drug testing in this case. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I want to appoint the public defender to represent you in this case. You have a great day, sir.
Can I raise my hand up, sir?
All right. You have a right, we got to talk to Mr. Brantz. Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name?
David Samble.
Mr. Sample, you're here in case 2021 CF 15758 AO on charge of possession of cocaine. They reviewed the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. State your bond at $1,000. Condition of bond not possess or consuming drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. State he seems to be on probation in Polk County in case 2008 CF 542201. And seems to be a violent felony offender of special concern. You asked not taking action on that violation of probation.
Yes, Your Honor, due to him being a violent felony offender.
Sir, in that case, the court did find probable cause for a on-view violation of probation. In that case, of course, it's going to set your bond at no bond. Your bond is going to remain at no bond. As I stated, you're a violent felony offender of special concern, not entitled to bail, to bond or bail in that case. Y'all ready, sir? I'm sure it's not. We gotta check that case number. Is it 22? I thought I saw a 01 when I looked it up, though. All right. Good morning, sir. Sorry, good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Montrellis Streeter.
Mr. Streeter, you're here in case 2021 CF 15756 AO on a charge of driving license suspended as a third or subsequent offender. View the charging affidavit in this case. Going to stay your bond. Find probable cause. Stay your bond $2,500. No operating motor vehicle without valid driver's license. You have a great day, sir.
I have it as 2008 CF 00542201.
Yeah, 01. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Streeter. Have a great day. All right. Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name?
White Thomas.
Mr. Thomas, you here in case 2021 CF 15745 AO on charge of burglary conveyance. Did review the charging affidavit in this case, did find probable cause for your arrest. Bond $3,500. Bonds condition your bond, no contact with victims or witnesses, no return to the scene of the location where the incident occurred. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You have a great day, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Audrey Walker.
Say it one more time.
Audrey Walker.
Ms. Walker, you're here in case 2021 CF 9096 AO on a failure to appear warrant. Bond is $2,500. I believe you already appointed a public defender. You have a great day, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you tell me your name?
Lauren Williams.
Ms. Williams, you're here in case 2021 CF 15757 AO on charge of possession of cocaine. They reviewed a charging affidavit in your case. Did find probable cause for your arrest. Going to release you on pretrial release in this case. Conditioning your pretrial release, you not possess, consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Subject to random drug and alcohol testing in this case. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You have a great day, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Anthony Woods.
Mr. Woods, you're here in case 2021 CF 15755 AO on a charge of aggravated assault with a firearm and falsely impersonating an officer. While committing a felony, they reviewed his charging affidavit in this case.
Your Honor,
1 second.
my only challenge would be to count 2. I think the statute is falsely impersonating police, firefighters, and a string of other state employees. And I believe he is a firefighter, so I don't know if we can splice the statute up.
I was splicing the statute up, but.
Well, I guess, I didn't mean to say it like that, just.
I mean, I guess you're
Can a
saying
police
that,
officer, right,
that the statute doesn't delineate whether he's acting in his role as a firefighter when the crime occurred.
correct. I believe so.
All right. Go ahead. Ms. State, what do you got to say about count 2?
Your Honor, state we just contend, within the affidavit, it says that several times that it appears like he was holding a cell phone as if he was on call. The way he was acting would appear to a normal person, he was acting as if in his role when he was not actually within his role. So state believes that there's enough for PC.
Well, I guess-
Additional information would be needed for.
I'm sorry, the way I captured Mr. Brandt's argument is that the statute in its plain language doesn't delineate whether the person was acting in their official capacity, but rather are they or are they not an official, a public, either a public official and or one of these other classes of people.
Yes, Your Honor. And
So it's similar if you were
on the first page, it states, he then walked toward Mr. Pineto's vehicle and stated, "You almost hit me, and I'm a police officer / firefighter." I believe that statement alone, I believe Mr. Wood stated he is a firefighter. I don't know the accuracy of that. However, I don't believe he's a police officer and firefighter. Therefore, from that statement alone, he was not acting within his role, stating that he is a police officer / firefighter. And that is testimony from the victim. It's about a third of the way down on the first page.
Yeah, I was just.
But the statute goes on to say, to act as such, or to require a other person to aid or assist him in a matter pertaining to the duty of any such officer. I don't believe that was here, just saying that he is an officer or police firefighter, which sometimes are bound together in the first responders kind of vernacular. But then he didn't, you know, attempt to arrest the person. He didn't attempt to pull them over or try to induce some action as an officer, or as a police officer or firefighter. I think he was just announcing himself.
The statute doesn't say he has to try to pull someone over, it says falsely assuming or pretending to be those people.
It says to take upon themselves to act as such.
By falsely assuming or pretending to be those people. And it's very presumptuous, him being a first responder himself, to lump law enforcement and firefighters in the same category. They perform completely different roles.
We know that.
Hmm?
We know that.
He knows that.
Hold on a second.
It's also further stated on page 3, again, that he said he was a firefighter and a police officer. And held his gun when he spoke to the victim.
Yeah, I mean, it's the.
And held his cell phone.
It is
as he
the
was on call.
ambiguity in the victim's statement that kind of is drawing my attention. I mean, he didn't. In these cases, no, I mean, I've had the extreme where people have like full police outfits and everything, and then you have the other extreme where somebody's pretend to be an undercover officer or possibly an undercover officer.
Yeah, sure. Lastly, we just point to defendant's own admission.
No, I mean, he admits he's a firefighter. That's not. I mean,
Well, and that he said that he was a police officer and then stated that it was just a slip. I mean, again, state would just argue that there's a very different connotation between being a police officer and a firefighter. And a firefighter responding on scene would not have a firearm. Law enforcement officer responding on scene or being off duty would likely have a firearm. And Mr. Woods had the firearm when speaking to the victim when he stated that he was a police officer.
Yeah, so, all right. So there's a 50 CA case.
State versus Alicia,
Yeah, and
about the overbreadth, that's what.
I remember there was some case me reading a long time ago about this. It's the question really lies is he taking on a persona of a law enforcement officer? Like, did he do any action to which a law enforcement officer would do? Like, he tried to arrest the person, you know, conduct some kind of investigation, arrest the person.
Your Honor, may I have the case site?
This is 692 Southern 2nd, 263. It's a 1997 case. The 50 CA talking about the constitutionality of the constitutionality of it, and then there's another case I'm looking at. Says to be convicted of falsely impersonating a law enforcement officer, state was required to show that the defendant both assumed and or pretended and took upon himself to act as such, not just simply that the defendant assumed or pretended to be a law enforcement officer or federal agent. That's Azers, maybe, for versus V State. It's a 50 CA case. It's 96 Southern 3rd, 1123, 2012 case. Just so somebody can say they're a law enforcement officer, I guess. I mean, but they have to. I say, I mean, like, am I reading that wrong? That at least the court's interpretation of the statute, that the person has to actually do something to pretend to be a cop.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, it was 96 Southern 3rd,
96 Southern 3rd, 1123, 2012. It's a 50 CA case.
Again, Your Honor, state would just point to the few facts within here, other than saying he was a police officer and admitting to that. He held his cell phone as if he was on call. He held a firearm, asked to hold the victim there. And again, a firefighter would not have a
Yeah, I
duty
mean,
weapon.
I think if they were past a firefighter, that's just an unreasonable. You know, if he's not acting as a firefighter. He's not trying to, like, I can see a sexual battery case of some sort happening or something like that. You know, somebody pretend to be a firefighter and you do some exam on you, some kind of official capacity or something. But it's more of like, I'm going to your argument that he is a law enforcement officer, which in this case is a road rage incident. Everybody's usually minimizing their involvement in that situation, but that neither the victim nor, because he wasn't held there, it's not a false imprisonment case. He didn't try to arrest him.
No, Your Honor.
Didn't the guy just leave? I remember the occurred. And they called 911, and then he came back and met with a law enforcement officer. They didn't go find him. They called him, and he came back.
Again, state would just point to him acting in furtherance by holding a cell phone and holding a gun.
All right. All right, Mr. Woods, as a count one, court did find probable cause for your arrest as to that charge. Going to set your bond in that case to the amount of $2,500. As a count two, not going to find any probable cause for your arrest. State, do you want 24 hours?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll get, say, 24 hours to produce more probable cause, but until then, what is the bond set right now?
It's set at no bond, Your Honor. It's an F2.
I'll set your bond in that case, that amount, in that count as well as $2,500. I'll reset you for tomorrow for probable cause determination as to that charge. Conditional bond, no contact with victims and witnesses, no weapons or firearms. Weapons and firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. All right, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you right now.
So he can bond out on 2,500 on each count, correct?
Yeah, he can bond out 2,500 discount, but if you can't bond for some reason, we'll see you tomorrow for probable cause determination as to count 2. All right, and let's go ahead and bring Mr. Bradley back. I haven't heard from Mr. Judge Cameron yet, so. All right, Mr. Bradley, come on back up. This case 2021 CT 8103AO. And you have 2 open cases, 2021 MM 7814 and 2021 CT 738AO. I haven't been able to reach Judge Cameron about the warrants you have for your arrest, and those open cases are kind of without jurisdiction to take any action without his authority. So, but I can resolve your cases if you would like. If you want to resolve, like I said before you left, I'll resolve all your cases with adjudication of guilt, credit time served. If you want to do that in these cases, if that's something that you want to do.
You represent him in both? Is that on bond
No.
cases, Your Honor?
He's not represent. He represent only getting out of bond cases. Yes.
But so we do represent him on his out-of-bond cases, but not on his current charge.
Yes.
Ended today.
So it'd be 3 convictions, Your Honor, adjudication of guilt on all counts, credit time served on all counts?
Yes, sir.
Do I need 3 plea forms or just 1 form with just the case numbers?
Yeah, 1 form is fine. I would think you only have the warrant in
It's
the misdemeanor case.
21 yes, 21 MM 7814 was a $1,000 bond or a $1,000 on the failure to appear.
Actually, he already resolved the 738 case. That case is closed.
No,
When
I
I
think
looked up
there's a
that one, I
730.
believe it was a different defendant's name when I looked up that one. But I saw the same.
Oh, it's a different defendant?
7328.
7328. All right, there you go.
Do you have a case number for the current?
Yeah, it's the current case is 2021 CF 8103AO. He has another case, 2021 CT 7.
7.
7328 AO. And the case with the warrant is 2021 MM 7814 AO.
And this current case is a CT case, right?
Yep, and it looks like, I don't know what happened here.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the current case
The
again?
current case is, yeah, CT 8103. Like you're supposed to have arraignment back on the 7th for this other case, but
Can we be appointed in all the cases so that they were resolved all under my name? Or under our office?
I was up to Mr. Bradley where he wants to pay the extra money.
You want us appointed in all the cases or just? $100 more. We're appointed in 2 of them, but not the. Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Bradley will have us appointed in the current case as well.
All right. Is he resolving the cases? We haven't got to that, answer that question yet.
Sure you are.
You resolving all the cases?
Yeah.
All right. Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony we're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You put your hand down. Sir, in 2021, CT 8103 AO, and in 2021, CT 7328 AO, you're being charged with no valid driver's license. Both of those are second-degree misdemeanors, punishable to 60 days in the county jail and a $500 fine. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're also being charged in 2021 MM 7814 AO with the crime of providing false information. That is a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable up to 1 year in the county jail and a $1,000 fine. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brands, what plea do you want to enter on in these cases?
We'll enter a plea of no contest, Your Honor.
Mr. Bradley, do you understand why entering a plea of no contest in each of these cases, you're going to waive your right to have a trial in each case where the state had to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you're waiving your right to challenge the state's evidence, question the state's witnesses, and call witnesses on your behalf in each case?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand you're waiving your right to have Mr. Brands or his office represent you at that trial?
Yes, sir.
You understand you're waiving your right to remain silent as to these charges?
Yes, sir.
You understand if there was a witness you wanted to call at your trial and the witness did not want to come to court, the court can use a subpoena power to make that witness appear?
Yes, sir.
You understand you're waiving all your rights to appeal in this case, except the court's jurisdiction over you and the sentence I'm going to impose?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, sir.
Have you now or in the past been diagnosed with a mental health illness?
No, sir.
Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Do you understand why entering this plea, if you're not a United States citizen, could subject you to deportation from this country? If you're not a United States citizen,
yes,
you
sir.
can be deported from this country based on this plea. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do the parties typically to a factual basis?
Yes, sir.
Don't.
For the purposes of the plea, yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
The court reviewed the court files in each one of your cases at all, as well as did find a factual basis contained therein. Going to accept your plea of no contest as to each case, find your plea is freely and voluntarily entered. As to, I want to start my sentencing with 2021 MM 7814 AO. Court is going to adjudicate him guilty of the charge, give him credit for the
1 day.
1 day that you spent in Orange County Jail with 1 day credit time served. Court costs in that case are $273. There's also a $50 public defender application fee and a $50 public defender lien. I'm also going to, in 2021 CT 7838 AO, 7328 AO. Court's going to adjudicate you guilty of that charge. Give him credit for the 1 day he spent in Orange County Jail with 1 day credit time served. Court calls the cost of prosecution in that case of $306. Going to impose a $50 public defender lien in that case. I'm going to make that case is run concurrent with 2021 MM 7814 AO. In 2021 CT 8103 AO, going to adjudicate you guilty as that charge. Give you credit for the 2 days you spent in the Orange County Jail with 2 days credit time served. Court cost of prosecution in that case of $306. There's also a $50 public defender lien in that case. That case is run concurrent with 2021 CT 7328 AO, as well as 2021 MM 7814 AO. I'll combine all these costs for payment. I'm gonna give you 3 years from today's date to pay this money directly to the clerk in full in each one of these cases. You have 30 days from today's date to appeal your judgment and sentence in writing in each one of these cases. You understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm going, do I have to, let's say withdraw the KPS and 7814, are they gonna? All right. Yeah, the case is closed, but for record purposes, the court's gonna withdraw the KPS issued in that case. Make sure that you're not gonna be arrested in that charge, that case, when the case is closed. All right. Yeah, anybody have anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Everybody have a great day. He has to be fingerprinted in the MM case. Thank you, sir.
There's nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
Say you got anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Brantz?
Nothing for the defense, Your Honor.
Ms. Davis? Sunshine? Nothing? All right. All right, we'll be adjourned until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.